Hey guys, do you have that email where I accidentally said that racist thing? Yeah, and then the other email where I accidentally said that homophobic thing? And you know the email where I accidentally said that sexist thing? Could you guys delete those? Welcome back to Odd Man Sports. My name's Brandon, and I'll be your YouTube server today. Do you like funny football shows? Because I've got enough to fill up the Cheesecake Factory menu, including That's Good Sports. On this show, today, the one you're watching, Odd Man Sports, I'll tackle some of the stories other shows are too afraid to touch, including a copycat crime involving Bill Belichick, a white-collar crime involving Tony Allen, and a crime against humanity perpetrated by MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred. And I think John Gruden did some stuff as well. We've got Dinks and Dunks. In our top story this week, John Gruden resigned on Monday as head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders after emails he wrote in 2011 revealed, among other things, a description of NFL Players Association Executive Director DeMaurice Smith involving a racist trope. Not good. So, is that the last we'll see of Coach Gruden? Shamed out of the league and banished to Kansas with Trevor Bauer, Louis C.K., Aziz Ansari, and Urban Meyer's strength coach? Or like the Chucky doll he's named for, will Gruden eventually resurrect himself, perhaps atop Oprah's couch? And so what might a path to redemption look like for the ex-Raiders coach? For answers, perhaps we should look to quarterback Josh Allen, who on the eve of being drafted by the Buffalo Bills in 2018 was revealed to have used racist language in tweets. Unlike Josh Allen, he was not 48 at the time, like John Gruden. These days, though, Allen is considered a beloved teammate, not to mention a face of the league and the MVP frontrunner. And in Peter King's column this week, he relayed an interesting quote that speaks to the Bills' quarterback's maturation. Said Allen, "Back in the day, I tried to play pissed off. Now, I'll do small things like listening to calming music pregame to not be so hyped and anxious for the game." Which means two things. One, there's hope, at least for a calmer, gentler Gruden in the future. And two, Josh Allen might be the only player in the NFL who has used both Enya and the N-word. The only silver lining to this story, or rather silver and black lining, is Gruden's resignation gives the Raiders' job to longtime assistant Rich Bisaccia. Check out that goatee. We haven't seen a head coach coloring match this perfect since Washington hired Mike Shanahan, who oddly enough is set to enter the Denver Broncos Ring of Fame this week as they play the Raiders on Sunday. Speaking of Washington, though, on Saturday, the Washington football team placed assistant athletic trainer Doug Kwan on administrative leave. Now, this comes a week after head athletic trainer Ryan Vermillion was also placed on leave pending the investigation into the illegal distribution of prescription drugs, which, not surprisingly, has left the team's medical staff short-handed. According to an ESPN report to help with the shortage, former longtime trainer Bubba Tyre, who retired in 2009, has been volunteering, and the team will also be hiring a couple of former interns to help. Interns in DC helping out a guy nicknamed Bubba? Why does that sound so familiar? In sports betting news, the updated Super Bowl odds are out, and the Bills and the Bucks are now the two teams with the best odds at plus 550, followed by the Chiefs and the Rams. If you missed it, the Bills' convincing Sunday night win over the Chiefs was delayed at halftime by a lightning storm. leading to this entertaining sideline report on the players passing the time.
They are eating sandwiches, although a couple have complained to me that there's too much peanut butter on the sandwiches. It's like 70-30.
For insights into where this 2-to-1 ratio of peanut butter to jelly came from, it helps to remember that the NFL is a copycat league. And which cat are these coaches copying?
My very special guest, Coach Bill Belichick of the Cleveland Browns. Bill, welcome to the show.
Nice to be here, Mike.
Oh, thank you. And I know we have a very special recipe today, one you've held in secret for many years, but you're going to share it with us today.
Right, it's the BBPBJ. The key to it, Mike, is to spread peanut butter on both sides of the bread.
Oh, why?
So that the jelly doesn't leak through in the sandwich.
And I have to say, this blew my mind. Not the peanut butter trick, but the fact that Bill Belichick ever had the ability to engage like a normal human being. I'm not gonna comment on the PB&J. We're on to grilled cheese. On Sunday, American football returned to London for the first time in exactly 2 years. Which means, you know what it means. You know which British punk rock football parody I was singing in the shower. London callings to the faraway towns. London callings, something, something, something. The Jets traveled 3,000 miles to lose to the Falcons 27-0, with real-life Pixar character Zach Wilson throwing his league-leading 9th interception. However, the Jets' trip across the pond did include one highlight: a practice video in which the players were asked to name a city in the United Kingdom besides London. Any city.
A city in the UK besides London. Britain. Easy. Is there a place like, it's spelled like Bologna? No, London, I guess.
Wow, I'm not sure what I expected. But just to recap, the Jets players answered Britain, which is a country, Bologna, which is a city, though it's in Italy, and my personal favorite response to name a city in the UK besides London, Tevin Coleman answering
London, I guess.
In baseball news, before Game 3 of the Astros-White Sox series, a Barstool employee went up to Chicago native and celebrity Cubs fan John Cusack and accused him of jumping on the White Sox bandwagon. Cusack responded by dropping the names of old school White Sox players to prove his South Side credentials, which, if he'd seen his most iconic role, the Chicago Barstoolie, should have known.
There's a ground ball. Aparicio has a steps on second, throws the first. The ball game's over. The White Sox have won it. The White Sox have won it.
Turning to basketball, the WNBA Finals tipped off between Diana Taurasi's Phoenix Mercury and Candace Parker's Chicago Sky. Days earlier, after leading Phoenix to a series-clinching semifinal win, Taurasi raced to the hospital to be with her wife, former Mercury forward Penny Taylor, for the birth of their second child. Congrats. Taurasi is widely considered the greatest player in league history, and a reminder of at least one area WNBA players have not just equaled, but surpassed their NBA counterparts: having sex with their own teammates. Money talks! Now, a couple weeks ago, I broke down a story involving Clinton Portis, aka CPO, and a group of NFL players accused of attempting to defraud the healthcare system with a series of bogus claims. Well, now, it's the NBA players' turn.
Allegations of a major healthcare fraud scheme rocking the NBA world. A group of high-profile former pros facing years behind bars for allegedly making fake insurance claims and illegally collecting big payouts from the league's healthcare benefit plan.
Among those accused include Terrence Williams, Glenn Big Baby Davis, and Tony Allen, who is scheduled to have his number retired by the Grizzlies on January 28th. Awkward. So, how did federal prosecutors catch on to these hardwood masterminds? Well, it was just as easy as you might think. According to the district attorney, the players filed false invoices for, among other things, expensive dental procedures that were never provided, while mistakenly overlooking one important detail.
In particular instances, the co-conspirators submitted false claims that reflected the same purported procedures on the same teeth on the same dates.
According to the DA, in addition to being on the same date, what also tipped them off was the players' dental appointments were all listed at the exact same time. Tooth hurty. As far as the players involved, these charges carry a potential penalty of up to 20 years in prison, which is no laughing matter, especially for a guy like Glenn Davis, who likes to wear a boa. Odd man out. Of all the modern metrics used to measure NFL players, DVOA, DYAR, to name a few, my favorite stat is still DGAF. And right now, Aaron Rodgers, by a wide margin, leads the league in DGAF.
I can't get up. I'm going to look like Schefter doing the Lambo leap he's thinking after having the... What's that? What's that?
I never said that. I didn't mention it looking like a unathletic, weak chin, no ass.
And as a fellow unathletic, weak-chinned, assless man myself, my initial instinct was to be put off by the Green Bay Packers comments. But I have to admit, I did find it refreshing. If you search online for celebrities who are anti-bullying activists, a million come up. Demi Lovato, Jennifer Lawrence, Justin Timberlake, Jessica Alba, Justin Bieber, Lady Gaga, and Taylor Swift, to just name a few. Anti-bullying is so hot these days that the biggest bully in the history of the NFL, Richie Incognito, serves as an ambassador to an anti-bullying group. And yet, if you search around for pro-bullying celebrities and athletes, almost none come up. Nobody's pro-bully. And while being kind to the uncool kids is a good thing, I personally wonder if the pendulum may have swung too far. My proof? The MLB playoff promo that aired this past weekend.
Hit the lights, turn the page, 'cause you punch your ticket to the biggest stage. Call 'em boys of summer, but it's all about the fall. Practice gets you Carnegie, but play brings a different haul.
My question, haven't we already ceded too much ground to the theater kids? TikTok, late night TV, Zac Efron's abs, and yet this high school baseball musical is a real thing that exists.
The air just feels so magical, stadium fanatical.
How was this ever conceived, approved, and released by a multi-billion-dollar organization is beyond me. It's almost like the MLB experienced a season with ballparks devoid of fans and was like, what can we do to get back to that? The only way it could have been worse is if this playoff fever dream morphed into a cringe-worthy Lin-Manuel Miranda Hamilton rap. No, they did not. They did not do that.
The city's windy and the Sox are white, rocking the Central like it's a God-given birthright. On a field for dreamers, they stole the show. So how about another one for Shoeless Joe?
Now, thankfully, within minutes of the promo's release, internet bullies flamed this thing so hard that the MLB mercifully took it down. And now if you click on the thumbnail, it gives you a 404 error message. Weirdly sponsored by Mattress Firm. Which is pretty fitting if you think about it, because as everyone remembers from high school, getting in bed with the cute theater girl was always an error in judgment. And look, I'm no Hollywood celebrity, but I do have a platform. A bully pulpit, if you will. And starting now, I will promise to use it to make the world a better place by helping to bring back bullying into sports.
Feels so magical, the looking so theatrical.
Someone in marketing's getting the pink slip tonight.